It's been a long time since I've done an IRL sports video, and with the World Cup for the men around the corner, I thought it'd be fun to do a video on the US women's national team. Players who should have become international, mainstays, but didn't. Now, it's important to mention that the United States women's national team is the hardest women's national team to get into. The nation is stacked with talent as the benchmark of the women's game. A lot of starting quality players don't get called up because the pipeline of talent in front of them is just too much. So you really have to stand out to even be a substitute, let alone a mainstay starter for the U.S. national team. So to start things off is Jenna Nighswonger. Jenna had a very big 2023. She was the NWSL Rookie of the Year. She won the NWSL Championship with Gotham FC. She got called up to the national team, and for the gamers out there, she was part of ES Sports SC24's Team of the Season, the first year where women were in the game's Ultimate Team game mode. It looked like the future of the left back position on the national stage would be hers. In 2024, she won a gold medal with the national team at the Paris Olympics. She led Gotham in tackles and successful crosses and was named to the NWSL Best 11. And then Arsenal called. Arsenal signed Jenna in 2025, and that's pretty much where the upcoming star known as Jenna Nighswonger vanished. The decision to leave Gotham for Arsenal wasn't the career change she thought it would be. Arsenal's one of the biggest names in the entire sport, so it's a no-brainer to want to have that name attached to you. But Arsenal wasn't a team in the need of a fullback. The team has Katie McCabe. Also has Jenna's national team teammate, whom is also one of the best in the world, Emily Fox, on the right side. So what does this mean? Jenna stopped getting the playtime she was getting in the WSL. Playtime is one of the most important things next to having a good performance for you to get called to the national team. If you're not playing, then the coaches and staff don't know if you're up to speed and of quality to be a part of the national team. So Jenna, after being viewed as a future star on left back, was passed over. Even Arsenal had moved on from her, sending her on loan to Aston Villa and signing Taylor Hines and Smila Holmberg. Hines being the backup to McCabe and to be the heir apparent as well, and Smila be the backup for Emily Fox. On the national team, her spot was taken ironically by another Gotham player, Lily Real, who, similar to Jenna, won the Rookie of the Year and the NWSL Championship. Weird, huh? But even beyond just Real, Kate Wisner and even Jill Thompson can sometimes line up as a left back when Emma doesn't want to use her as a right back. But all have been viewed ahead of Jenna in general when it comes to call-ups for the national team at the fullback position. It is safe to say leaving the NWSL ruined the potential of Jenna Nighswonger. Next up on this list is Lo LaBonta. For the male sport fans out there, you know who Lo is without even actually knowing who she is. She made a celebration famous that men started doing. With Lo, this is someone who is a prime example of the U.S. national team just being incredibly stacked and hard to make the squad. Lo has been iconic in the NWSL during her time with KC. But no matter how good she was or how good the current were, she couldn't make the team over the likes of Lindsay Heaps, Sam Coffey, Lauren Holiday, Carly Lloyd, Sam and Chrissy Mewis, Julie Ertz, Roosevelt, and even with the future stars like Corbin Schrader and Lily Johannes, as well Olivia Moultrie. Lo is a midfielder for a nation that has a plethora of midfielders. In 2025, she did get 5 call-ups, but at this stage of her career, this feels more like paying respects to her NWSL legacy than the national team seeing her as a potential for big games. Much like how the U.S. midfield has been pretty much impossible to get into, same thing can be said for the center back position. You have Becky Sauerbrunn, Rapone, you had Engen, you had Ertz, mentioned before as a midfielder, Dog Camper, you had Alana Cook, and Amy Sonic. And those are from the years past. Now you have the likes of Germa and Rudd and Davidson and Sams and Wesley. Because of this, there has been standouts who just wasn't viewed as being good enough for the national team, like Lauren Burns, who was a bit like Lo LaBonta in the sense that she's an NWSL icon. Pretty much, 10 years she was one of the best center backs in the league. Back-to-back years as being named to the best 11, a 3-time Shield winner who holds the record for most games and most minutes played in the league. But she only got called up to the national team once for the She Believes Cup and didn't even play. Not a sign of her not being good enough. Everyone in this video is good enough, but a sign of how tough it is to make the team. Another center back whom seemed primed for international spotlight, but instead of not making the team because of a stacked line of vets, she was passed over for a younger talent that Sam Stomp looked to be every bit of a future mainstay in the national team. During her rookie year, she was viewed as one of the best defenders in the USL. She was the second player ever to play every minute during the rookie season. She was a Rookie of the Year nominee. She was a nominee for 2023 Defender of the Year. But even still, she was passed up for the national team, only to get called up a couple of times in 2024. The last center back we'll mention in this video is Sarah Gordon, whom is very similar to Sam Stobb. She's considered one of the best in the league, been named to Best 11 twice. She was second in voting for Defender of the Year in 2021, but like Sam, has been passed up by young talent, even on her own team. Savvy King is viewed as a future star of the defense for her team, as well as Giselle Thompson at fullback. Sarah's had 2 call-ups, but nothing came from those, and like Sam Stobb, has since not really been on the radar for future considerations. No name screamed future star like Kalia won. She won the NCAA championship. She scored the winning goal, the only goal scored in the Under-20 World Cup against Germany. When she was drafted by Houston Dash, the coach called her one of the best forwards in the country. She was the runner-up in that year's Rookie of the Year voting, which, funny enough, was won by Julie Ertz. 2 women with pretty big NFL husband names, future Hall of Famer J.J. Watt and Zach Ertz, who will probably go down as one of the greatest, Eagles tight ends of all time. Back to Kalia, this is about her, not about who she married. She became the Dash captain only 2 years after being in the league. During the 2026 season, she tied Lynn Williams for the Golden Boot and was named to the best 11 that year. But then tragedy struck. She tore an ACL, which meant she would miss the entire 2017 season. And as we know in sports, the best ability is availability. And while she was out with an injury, a fresh batch of young stars lined up. The likes of Megan Rapinoe, Christian Press, Lynn Biandolo, and Tobin Heath, as well as Crystal Dunn, when she wasn't playing fullback, would also play as a winger. Then you have the youth coming up like Mallory Swanson, Trinity Rodman, and Sophia Wilson. Kalia went from a future star winger to only 3 call-ups and a silent retirement from the sport. She never actually officially retired, but her husband J.J. Watt just said, yeah, she's done. That's the tragedy of one of the highest potential wingers the U.S. national team ever had in the women's side of the game. The last player we'll talk about in this video is Jaylen Howell, whom screamed potential star midfielder. She's a 2-time national champion, won the award for best college soccer player back-to-back years. She won the inaugural CONCACAF Champs Cup with Gotham against Tigres and was the NWSL champion in the same year. Whenever rosters for the national team gets posted, her name isn't on it, she's the player fans go to social media to talk about the most, about being snubbed for not getting call-ups. She's only had 6 call-ups. She's still in her prime and still looks to be a world-class midfielder, but as I mentioned before, time and time again, she plays a position that has an incredible amount of talent. Even with Sam and Lindsay being on the outside of their careers, Jaylen still has to compete with the Johannes, Schrader, Moultrie, Shaw, Hutton, Bethune, Jackson, and Fuller. Being good isn't good enough with those young players around, and vets like McCardio, Heaps, Lavelle, and Coffee still playing. Luckily for Jaylen, though, Rose, Cat, and Jaden sometimes play as forwards, but even still, the pipeline is very full. Now, this list could be a lot longer, but this video has run long enough. Want to keep it short. There has been so many good players who just weren't, up to the level of the national team's expectations. Hell, some players had to switch nations because they wanted to play international football, but they might as well play somewhere else because they couldn't make the U.S. team. Players like Maria Sanchez, Kiki Van Zanten, Diana Ordonez, and Casey Fair. Numerous U.S.-born or U.S.-raised talent have switched nations to their parents' or grandparents' country in effort to find international play. It's important to note this video isn't saying anyone is bad or anything like that, but that they didn't get a chance on the national team level, or if they did, they didn't translate their level of success to the international stage. Both Jenna and Jaylen are young enough for things to change for them, with Jenna playing a position she could still sneak in with if she returns to her 2023 form, which would mean she needs to get on a good team. The keyword there is a good team where she starts and has decent playing time. But with all that said, that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoy. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe and be close to another. I'm being your boy, nwsl. I'm out of here. Deuces.